What's up, everybody? Welcome to the CanesInSight Daily Podcast, powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. We're doing two-a-days here. We got the Mike Ryan Show coming up at 2. We want to do a morning show for all the sickos out there that can't get enough Canes football talk, and we're bringing in the big dogs, some of the top supporters of the program, the people who really, really know. You always hear people say, I got a guy, I got a guy, I got a guy. These are the guys right here. These are the people that you don't see always, but that know what's going on, and we wanted to bring them to you with Seth Cooker and Jose, the Orchid Man. You already know. So it's gonna be a lot of fun here as we get ready, and also Pete on this year in a second. First, I want to talk about some folks that definitely know what's going on. That is Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. If you or someone you care about has been injured in an accident, you could be entitled significant compensation. Dial 1-800-747-FREE, 1-800-747-3733. Take back control of your life. Before we hop in, Pete, if you want to hop in, you want to hop around, you want to grab some boards, you want to be active. Probably know how hard it is to sit on the injured list. Maybe you even try to hack your own rehab, come back early. But if compromising your movement or performance is not an option, you want to come back 110%, recover your game with the University of Miami Sports Medicine Institute. Whether it's elite competition, athletics, sports, or everyday movement, just getting around, moving fast, being active. The University of Miami Sports Medicine Institute is the trusted choice for those who demand excellence. Set an appointment today at uhealthsports.com. All right, Pete, hop in.
Good morning, D. How we feeling?
Feeling excellent, man. I like the double show today. We got a live crowd here as we got Orchid Man here working back, trying to find the right angle, the right lighting for his tan as he fiddles around here in the studio. But yeah, man, I'm feeling awesome, man. How you doing?
Doing well, man. Doing very well. It's obviously the dog's excited too, but yeah, man, we got the short week here. So after those 2 buys in 3 weeks, and then just talking to Amon yesterday, that always gets me fired up for the game. And then we got some, like you said, we got some heavy hitters here with us today who will be joining us in just a moment.
Yeah, no, appreciate Lord Baconton as always. Big Mo, appreciate you. Go Canes. Rob Duke saying D finally got the haircut. Shout out to Oliver at Golden Touch, best barber in Miami, the official barber of the University of Miami. All right, so I'm talking about him. Let's bring him in. You know who they are. You've seen them before. Seth Cooker, big-time Canes booster and marketing extraordinaire. And then the Orchid Man himself, the landscape artisan, the top landscape artisan in South Florida. How we doing, boys?
Doing great.
Morning,
How about you?
Pete. Morning, Pete.
This is heaven, man. We got the baseball scrimmage here at 10:45. Weather is perfect. Canes are favored by 2 touchdowns for the rest of the year, and we're undefeated. I mean, life does not get better than this, so just kind of knocking on wood. I'm going to start with Seth because we haven't talked to him in a while. So, Seth, just kind of your thoughts. Again, you were there in practice during camp. You saw the scrimmages. You saw the team sort of had their ups and downs come together. From everything you've seen, just kind of where are you at with this program as we sit here 5-0?
I mean, like everybody in K Nation, we're all pretty ecstatic. I mean, who could not be? We were all talking about, if we split Notre Dame in Florida, we'd be happy. And now we're talking, we're 5-0 and making our ACC run. The biggest, I think I've heard you say this, but the biggest surprise for me by far is you and I saw, Peter saw Malachi Tony, catching the ball a lot during all these practices. But what I didn't expect is this pure speed that he's shown on the field, the breakaway speed, and that's been amazing for us to watch. And he's only just turned 18. It's really remarkable. Other than that, it's been practices how they're playing. It's really what we saw for the most part, which is great. And it's great to see, and I think we'll see it more now a little bit, is the younger guys getting to play. I think I had mentioned, the Bethune game when all those young guys came in. That was the first time probably in 2 decades that I waited and I stayed and watched the younger guys, because we actually had younger guys to watch and to see how they were going to play. So it's exciting. It's really exciting to be a Cane fan right now.
All right, I'm going to switch to the Orchid Man. My guy Derek Hucks, he came up with this, Jose. What do you think? It's ORCHID Man. So that's been the new slogan right there. I don't know if you remember the old Hall & Oates song Wu-Tang song. That's the remix for you right there. But you're going to be hanging around the Hecht all day, so I know you're plugged in. Just where are you at after seeing the FSU game and how Miami handled business?
We look good, Dean. I mean, I'm going to tell you, I continue to be impressed by the professional manner of the team, how mature they're acting, how they're buying into Mario's, you know, coaching and motivation and trying to keep that rat poison out of the building. We've been talking about since the Notre Dame game of how, this team is a different team. This team is not the teams of the past. How mature, how they only want to play football, how they want to continue to get better, and you can see it. I tell you, we're 5 weeks in. Have you felt uncomfortable through 5 weeks for 1 minute? I haven't felt uncomfortable.
I gotta say, I didn't feel too good when Florida State lined up for that onside kick last week.
But did you feel uncomfortable from that side?
No, I mean, listen. We've talked about it. They've been in control of these games. Obviously, you want them to pull away somewhat, a little bit more. I feel like that could be the case, but I could be nitpicking there. I know that obviously there is an element of we're trying to kind of tighten these games up and not, give a chance to have these turnovers that could be, explosive and flip the game the other way. But me personally,
there's a happy medium.
And we talked about this yesterday, D. I think we look at some of these Alabama teams of the past that we understand that it's not going to be the same depth now NIL wise, but the way that they were able to kind of carry games out without changing how they really played, and you just let the young guys run it, and you don't really scale anything back necessarily. But we've had this discussion. That's Jose to your point. It's never really felt like the game was getting away from Miami necessarily.
And look, last year, and again, last year we had Cam. I heard Cam last year say multiple times, when we get everything, when we play all together and we play a complete game, we're going to be unstoppable. This is what happened, is that the only game that we played last year that was a complete game was Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We never, as good as the year was last year, we never played a complete game. This year's team seems and feels much different. We have control on both sides of the ball. We can run it, we can throw it, we can stop the run, we can stop the pass, we can,
Well, I'll get Jose back here in a second. But Seth, you were here I think you were at both scrimmages, right? The last two scrimmages, correct, if I recall. So if I just looking back, it feels like it was like a year ago with all the games have been played. But I remember one of those scrimmages, and I'm speaking really of the first team, going against the first team, right? The guys we see on Saturdays. I recall one of those scrimmages, Miami completely stopped the run. And then one of those scrimmages, Miami ran the ball, particularly Jordan Lyle, really, really well. Pringle also. And I remember thinking, like, are we just weak against the run? Are we weak against are we just really good at running the ball? Like, it's going back and forth. What does that mean? And through a few games, when you see Jeremiah Love getting stopped, FSU's running game getting stopped, when you see just, Miami's ability to really bottle up, Jaden Baugh didn't do anything really. So Miami's ability to stop the run, and then of course the running game looking just like it did last year. It seems like what we saw in the scrimmages before the season was really a back and forth between two really good units.
And you look at what we did against, how we played against Florida and how Florida played against Texas. Texas was the preseason #1 team in the country. If we had to play Texas today, we would still. I don't feel uncomfortable playing against any opponent this year. We've seen Ohio State, we've seen Indiana, we've seen Texas and Clemson. we can stack up against anybody. It seems like,
100%. And I think that the players that we've spotted up, I mean, you're not going to get better, more explosive running backs than Love, than Bono. Pete's a big fan, and he is better than I was giving him credit for, but he didn't do anything against Miami FSU's running game. So I mean, we really did go against some top units and stop them. Got a big challenge this week with Chris Bell for Louisville, who I think might be the best receiver in the country. But Seth, just kind of picking up on our conversation as far as like seeing how it played out in camp and how it was different, then seeing it on the field. Now you have a little bit more of a kind of a comparison to say, all right, this is something that we saw in camp that was different, that is now played out on the field for the next time you're in camp. And you can say, you can kind of spot it. Like, what's something now, seeing the whole picture, that you could say, all right, this is something that was different in camp that has translated to the field. And now I know this is what it looks like when we're at camp going forward.
So let's move back 20 years. This was what would happen quite frequently, is offense would win one day, defense would win another day. Because we were scarred for 20 years, like you and I looked at it like, okay, so what do we have here? And we didn't really want to are we really like we were back in the good old days? But coaches would say, no, they would tell us, we would talk to them together and they'd be like, no, this is normal. This is good. This is, mano y mano. One day the offense says, no, we're not letting the defense take advantage of us. Next day, defense says, no more offense. So now looking back, okay, this is where we need to be. We need to have an offense and defense that do win certain days. It just depends on who's got a little bit more unks and anger at that particular day of practice. So yes, looking back, it did come to fruition. But when we were watching, we were all like, oh my gosh, what do we have here? We don't know. It was, but now you see it. But I will say, I wanted to interject something that we were talking about a little bit before. Is actually one of the best comments I've seen for a long time on any team, was that interview with Jacoby Thomas, when they asked him, what's the difference between this Miami team and say where you came from in Tennessee? And he's flat out said, because when we got to the locker room after the Florida State game, we were pissed. And that is what you want, because as fans, we were pissed, but you want the players to be pissed, because it shouldn't have gotten to that point.
Yeah, it's exactly what Lord Baconton says here, agreeing with you totally. And I got to correct something. So Juan Manuel, as said, Chris, when I said Chris Bell's the best receiver in the country, is D-Money on cannabis or oregano, maybe a can of BUZZN. I should have clarified that. Best draft eligible receiver in the country. Jeremiah Smith's the best player, period. We know that. But I'm really impressed with Chris Bell, number 0 for Louisville. It's not the best draft eligible class of receivers, and I'm a big fan of his. I know Pete is as well. But I want to ask you guys, because, again, you guys have been long time loyal supporters of the program during lean years for the program, lean years for the athletic department, just tough times. You guys were there and you guys are still there. Now you have some success. There's a lot of very wealthy students or students from wealthy families coming into UM, I think more than ever, based on what I'm seeing in the admissions. And I'll let Pete kind of like give us the quote here, but there was a very prominent potential booster, UM parent, talking to our guy, Steve Kim, who we'll talk to tomorrow on the Thursday show, like always. But this is Dana White, the president of the UFC, many million air over. I don't know if he's close to $1 billion yet. He'll probably get there soon. But somebody who is a promoter by nature. He likes to be in front of the camera, and he has been very happy to promote wear the UM stuff. Pete, I'll throw it to you because I know you have the quote in front of you, but I want to get your guys' thoughts. And let's start with Seth and move up to Jose, as far as just like what has been there for a while, now getting some help. So Pete, let's see the quote.
You breaking up there. I don't know if it was something on my end, but I can play the video if you want. I don't think we'll get hit by our boy Steve Kim.
Yeah, if Steve hits us copyright, we'll have to call him. Yeah, play the video.
So I'm gonna play it here. And again, this is the 3 Knockdown Rule podcast, Steve's boxing pod. So hold on a second. Let me make sure that I think I might have kept the audio off of it. Give me a second here. Sorry.
Yeah, there you go. Let's go here. I got this text from OrchidMan this morning, so I know it's going.
All right, here we go.
On behalf of the Miami Hurricane fan base, we saw you out there at the Notre Dame game. I know your daughter now is part of the U. I'm going out there Friday for the Louisville game. The fan base would rip me if I didn't ask you this. Will you be making a sizable donation to the NIL fund? Because Jack is graduating next year. We're going to need a new quarterback.
More than likely, the answer is yes.
Right.
You know, I went to my first game, the Notre Dame game, and I met everybody and started I think I'm getting positioned to get hit up for. I see it coming. I see the writing on the wall. But it's funny. So I'm huge Boston Patriots, Celtics, Red Sox. I've never been a fan of a college team ever. So this is like my first college experience, and I'm really looking forward to it. And could I come in at a better time? I mean, they're ranked number 2.
I know. Soon to be number 1.
Yep, I love it.
I love how Mario Lopez tried calling Steve out and telling him it was like a stupid question, and Dana was all for it.
So Seth, I wanted to start with you because I know you talk to people, and because your kids were just there at UM. I know you've talked to people in administration, admissions related people, and just you got a sense of what's going on. I mean, something like this where Dana's one of really many kind of wealthy parents, and that's just the guys in the spotlight that we know of. Bezos' stepkid, I think Ari Emanuel or one of the Emanuel's kid. Again, that's just the famous kind of people. Of course, Trump's granddaughter next year, and then plenty of people behind the scenes that you don't see. Is there a movement where there's a lot of just juice behind this program, or is that something that we're just seeing on the outside? Like, what is really happening at UM?
I think that they are, and this is from obviously conversations, but there's a lot of optimism. I mean, we've always had semi-famous or famous people. I remember like the era of FedEx, his son, I think, actually was on the football team, and that didn't come to fruition. But here you have obviously the team winning. You have Mario, and Mario doesn't have to sell that. Mario just be himself. It sells the team. So you have these people, their kids are coming here. The school is in itself is positioned. There's a political dynamic in the country, and it actually filters down to schools. And so schools that are in the middle are getting a lot of kids because some parents don't want to send them to certain areas. And when you combine that to a very good education, obviously, in a city of Miami, there's a lot going for Miami, University of Miami, and it's kind of combined. It's always been combined. And so when Miami is booming, the university starts to boom. When the football team, especially the way it's doing now, that's what started the school, to be honest with you. Back in the early 80s, applications went up because the team was up. Same reason why people go to Georgia or Alabama. It definitely brings in students. So now you have tons of students wanting to come, but you could be very selective because of the type of institution that you have, and everything goes together. So there's a lot of pride right now. There's a lot of pride in the university, a lot of pride in the academics, and it's not even just football, but football obviously is the big dog. So it's been fun. And then the NIL also, it's funny. So it's not funny, but NIL brings a different way to donate than the old way. The old way is just a charitable contribution, but NIL, you can write it off in your business as advertising, which again, more businesses, more big people are inclined to do that because actually with the big beautiful bill, donations are actually capped. Here, if you don't have to worry about that, you're going to be actually advertising. So there's a lot of things going in the right direction, and as long as we win, it definitely helps. And I think they do see some of these people more than just Dana White coming in and bolstering the program. So it's definitely a good day to be UM, not just what we see on the field, but also behind the scenes. There's a lot of optimism.
OrchidMan, you sent me the link right when it happened, so I know you're fired up. What are you seeing with everything going on?
To piggyback on what Seth's saying, I think it's a microcosm of the city. Miami today is an evolving city with a lot of new, fresh capital, a lot of Wall Street money, a lot of lawyers, a different level of money, and I think when you see that influx of money and you see an administration again who has their shit together, who is able to capitalize and pony these people to give money, I think you're going to see more of these Dana Whites. Dana White set himself up because now he's going to have to give money because he just set himself up. So now it's just a matter of how much he's going to give, right? But I got that email from somebody in the administration. I mean that tweet. So they're on it more than ever. And to piggyback on what Seth was saying, the FedEx guy had plenty of money, but our administration was such a disaster back then that they were never able to capitalize on somebody like Fred Smith. The guy's a billionaire. That guy should have given $50 million to the university. They're all over Dana White and through affiliates of people that are very involved already with the university. They're going to make a splash with Dana. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, one guy I want to highlight just because he is one of the best supporters of the program, just dudes in general. Dan Lambert, who owns.
I was gonna say that.
Yeah,
I was gonna say.
you were hinting at it there. Dan Lambert from American Top Team. Obviously, he's very involved in the mixed martial arts scene. Has a relationship with Dana from that. But this guy is a long time, huge supporter, doesn't seek the spotlight, even though, which is funny because he's like a forward facing guy. He was in wrestling for a while doing promos, but he's not somebody that seeks out attention. Which really
he was one of the first. He was one of the first people to donate an annual large sum to the NIL fund before before the collective was really organized. And
it was like $500 per player.
I had to do a lot of those deals. It was every single player on the team per $500 a month.
Yeah,
and that was before these. That was when NIL first. Because remember, I was an NFL and NIL agent at the time, and how these deals were first supposed to be designed were the local companies, the mom and pop. But Dan was one. It was Dan, and then it was a BYU. I think it was Built Bar, which was a BYU, grad, and they basically were the first people to give like team-wide deals like that. And that was a huge. I think it was $500K plus a year commitment that he had made at the time, and he was really at the forefront of it. Again, when the collective concepts were still being developed, and came shortly thereafter. Obviously, John Ruiz, his involvement, was very publicly known as well. But Dan Lambert, I agree, deserves a ton of credit there.
Yeah, he deserves a lot. He deserves a ton of credit, and he's very behind the scenes. I agree with D. He doesn't seek the spotlight, but he's a force.
So we got a lot of comments here I want to get to for both you guys to get your thoughts on. So PSL can appreciate you. He's saying what you guys have said. When you have a proof of concept and identity as a team and a true leader at the helm, it's easy to support this team in their future. Also, the NIL is going to get handled by Canes Connection, which they've proven what they can do. The coaches have proven what they can do with the money. And then, of course, Echeverria at the top. So it just, people have been giving for a while at different levels, but it's a lot better to give when you're given for to people that are going to handle it responsibly and effectively, and I think that's something you're seeing. But I want to get this question for both of you guys. Let me start with Seth, and then move on to OrchidMan here. By the way, we got over 1,500 on right now on a Monday morning show. I mean, that's for 926, Pete. That's huge numbers. They know that OrchidMan and Seth are on, so the people are lining up. This is like really high numbers for this time of day. So shout out to you guys. But let's start with Seth. M. Milan saying, "Dear boosters, what can we do as alumni and fans to contribute towards the football team? What's the best way and most important thing we need from your experience with these contributions?" And I'll supplement that, Seth, because Canes Cat asks, "How are you getting a tax write-off if you donate to the collective? Please explain to another donor." So with that, I'll give it to you.
So whether it's $50 or $50 million, right now NIL is the big thing. It's Canes Connection, which is, Deed says it all the time, they're so extremely well run. They're a machine, and they appreciate, like I said, from even $5. Whatever you can give is appreciative. As far as the tax, yeah. So basically, the way it's worded when you do NIL is, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but basically, what it is that the NIL is players doing their own brand. So they get involved with the collective, and the collective says, okay, we're going to do a signing, and that signing is for the team store. The team store is getting advertising. So whatever the players are doing, they're being compensated for. So that's why it's an advertising cost, because you're actually supplementing, you're paying for the advertising of whatever players. It could be a group of players. You can narrow it down that, hey, I want Carson Beck I want to do my NL to him, and I want him to do a commercial for me. So it goes quite large, from small to large. Most people just put it into the collective and let them see fit how they're going to put out those funds, but it is advertising dollars. You're paying basically for the. Go ahead, Peter.
And I don't mean to cut you off, but I just want to clarify for the people out there. From what I'm understanding, you're talking about if someone says, "Hey, I have a company," right? Because for people who aren't aware that you can do this, and I know this because I've helped connect some. You can, if you are a local business owner or you're a booster, you can go to Canes Connection, and they can basically facilitate the deal for you. If you say, "Hey, I want some offensive linemen," right? I'm giving XYZ. What can we do, right? So you're still doing it through Canes Connection, but they are facilitating the deal for you, and it's
Correct.
different than just, "Hey, here's some money that I want to donate." So that's because, remember, Seth, there's some people out there who may just try to like reach out to a player or their representative and stuff.
You have to go through.
You can
the
do that,
collective.
but going through Canes Connection makes this process a lot more streamlined for you,
and much more kosher, as they say.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So Jose, what do you think as far as like ways? Obviously, we have the link here for canesconnection.com/CIS. Seth really just explained, and we got a lot of great comments in the chat. People are loving this. Seth explained how, for a business like both you guys have your own small businesses, how that could, have a tax deductible donation to Canes Connection, or donation is the wrong word, marketing relationship with Canes Connection. Just in general, Jose, you as someone who, like Seth, has been part of this for a long time, what's your message to the fans that are watching this?
Every dollar counts, and you can't underestimate what your contribution does to the whole kitty of Canes Connection. And I think, when you look at the University of Miami today to where we were in 2021, I knew this, and we've talked about this a few times, is that once the bandwagon starts to get going, it's unstoppable, right? But it's not about the bandwagon. We have to look at what Mario has built, is building, and will continue to build here over the next decade. People forget that Miami has always been a stopping ground for head coaches to go to the NFL or to go to the next big thing. And people need to realize that the big thing is us. The next big thing is Miami. And people need to support day in and day out what Mario and that staff are doing, because they're doing big things. This recruiting class is going to be a big thing in the next 2 months. And people need to support the Canes Connection. And I think it'd be a great idea to bring Zach, onto the podcast and have him really explain to on your podcast and to the fans exactly how this works, because I know how accessible he is, and he'll be more than willing to come out and really spend some time with you guys and explain to the fans the benefit of what their dollar does to help us win on a consistent basis.
Yeah, Zach is the absolute best. That's why I think, again, We've been saying this is the best collective in football for a while. I think you're seeing the results on the field, so you could take my word for it. But yeah, we try to get. You don't have to take my word for it. I'm sorry, you don't. You can just watch it. We've been trying to get Zach on for a while. He's a little shy. He's always on the golf course with the president and different candidates. So he's a pretty busy guy, but we're working on it. I'm gonna text him right now.
Let's make it happen. Well, let's make it happen.
So listen, I got
final question. One thing. Sorry.
Oh yeah,
please. One thing about collective and our coaching staff and how well they work together. You, Dina, you and Peter, we all spoke about this, that, our last recruiting class, I think, was ranked around 10 or something like that. But yet, if you speak to our coaches, they're like, you look back 4 or 5 years from the future, going backwards, and they're going to say this might be our best class, that they hit home runs on just about, if not everyone they feel on that class. And that's evaluation. And then they take that evaluation and they say, okay, this is what we think each player should be worth. And it's a job. It's not easy. They have to figure out who they're going to keep, who they're going to maybe let go because they're not worth the money, who they're going to bring in. So there's a lot going on behind the scenes. And we definitely have the best NIL and the best coaching staff and evaluating working together. And so that's what we're saying. Everything helps. So the more that you can give them, they're not just going to frivolously spend it. They're going to use that money wisely. And the more they have in the bank, the better off that they can be. So they don't get, say, in the case of, let's say, Jeremiah Smith, they don't get outbid. And I'm not saying that's what happened, but there was a lot of money going around during that time. And so you're giving them the resources they need. So if they have to go after a specific guy that they say, this is the guy, that they have it.
And it's not it's not a perfect science, right? I mean, listen, at the end of the day, you're talking about 16, 17, 18-year-olds. So it's very difficult to sit here and to think the staff's going to hit a home run 100% of the time. And there's going to be a season where we miss on a guy, and that's the way it is. But look, I'll give you an example of Samson, right? Samson has been around here for 3 years. The guy hasn't played. But you know what? The staff saw something in him at the time that they thought could develop into something big. Did he turn out to be CC from day one? No. But Samson's playing heavy snaps. Samson's going to be a great player next year. He may be a great player in 2 years from now, because kids develop at different moments. And as a fan base, all we can do is be consistent. And by being consistent, it means giving consistently to the program. I believe in these guys, and I'll say it again. I've said it 900 times. I believe in these guys. I believe in this staff. We are in the best position that we have ever been. And I love what Mario says. We're not going back. We're not going back. We're going forward. And we're going forward in a new era. And that era of the 80s and 90s, great era, great time. Great time to be alive, like I say. But what he is projecting, what he is doing as a staff, how he's forging this new era of Canes football is exciting.
That's the U part 3. Well, the NIL will be a big part of it. Last questions for both you guys before I let you go. And I have a specific question for each of you guys. But first, I'll answer a question quick from Kirk. Probably sending this from Duffy's right now. He's asking how much NIL money, or how does NIL money get distributed across all UM athletic teams? Who makes the final call? Fluid process. Here's what I'll say. It is not a political answer. It's the truth. And I'll give you stats to back it up. The football, I think you all know that NIL is going to football. You see it on the field. Baseball had the most transfers of any team in the country last year. The most. And you saw the results where there were a couple runs away from Omaha after having a losing season the year before, one of the least talented rosters they ever had. So clearly baseball is benefiting. And then basketball, we'll see how they perform, but they have a whole new team, and we're excited about what we've heard and seen. There's a lot of buzz about some of these guys internationally, 5 stars from the United States, etc. So guys who have produced in college. So go ahead.
Let me say something about that, how it's spread out. Football's king, and everybody in that school knows who is king. Now, there are donors in basketball who are basketball donors. And I think what he's doing, what Jay's doing, and what those coaches are doing is is good. And I think Miami basketball is going to be very competitive this year, and I think they're going to be very competitive in the past, in the future. I think women's basketball, believe it or not, has some donors that are helping.
Top 5
Base-
portal class for the women's basketball.
Baseball's NIL budget last year, I know very well, was a pittance when you think about what it is to compete at an SEC level in baseball, which LSU and Arkansas and all those teams have $5-6 million budgets just for baseball. Tennessee, so Miami's budget was less than $1 million last year for NIL. Now, going forward, as you win, as you get competitive, those numbers are going to expand. And I think at the end of the day, you have to remember that even volleyball. I mean, let's talk about volleyball for a second. They had won 15 games in a row. Everybody is benefiting from this new era of money. The issue is that you can't forget that who's the golden goose, and the golden goose is Canes football.
Almost 2,200 on a Wednesday morning. Again, they heard Seth and OrchidMan were in the building, and the numbers are off the charts. I'm serious. But Seth, I want to ask you this before I let you go, which is, you have a different. You have the supporter side, the fan side. Also, as a parent, your son right now, Josh Cooker, at puts out great videos, as we've seen some of his highlights. So he's living the experience as a student that you lived, where the team's doing well. Just from that perspective, because you have that insight, like the student experience during this run, like what are you seeing? Because I know you lived it because you were here during a glory period, right? Pete didn't get to have the experience because he was there when they were down. So like just seeing the difference it makes for students at like how you were able to experience the good times. I mean, what are you seeing there from the experiences of your son?
So I'm the same year as Mario. I graduated with Mario. So they won 2 national championships when I was there. And Mario brought, met like a luncheon with Mario, and my son was there. It was very intimate. And Mario promised Josh, and this is when he first got here. He's like, Joshua, before you graduate we're going to win a national championship. And we'd like, oh, please. Like, we're all like praying. But you know what? It's really remarkable. And the engagement of the students, it was like my son went to every game. My son is a fan, born and bred like I am, coming from me. But the average student, no, they'd be like, we have a football team. It was kind of almost like a joke. We've been pretty bad for a while.
Got to hit those day parties, right?
Yeah, right. But now, I mean, they're actually, they're trying to get the school to, they have the buses that they're in the middle of the campus, but the fraternities are all on the other end. And so they're trying to get them to, they all want to go. There's a lot of participation. They want to be there more and more. Hey, have buses come to the fraternity side too. Let's get everybody going there. And if you even look at the games, and even for Bethune-Cookman, there are a lot of students there. There are a lot of students. So it's been great. He's been at it. He has a twin sister who loves doing football, but didn't necessarily make the trek. She's been making the trek. That's what winning breeds. And it's how we win too. It's the games are a lot of fun. So yeah, the students are great. I know merchandising is up, everything is up, and that's the way it is. I mean, Florida State and Clemson used to say, "Oh yeah, we have all the ratings." You had the ratings because you were winning, but Miami's Miami, and so Miami, even when we're bad, it gets ratings. When we're good, they go off the charts because you either love us or you hate us. You watch us.
The brand moves the needle. The brand is real.
OrchidMan, before I let you go, and you guys have been generous with your time, we appreciate it. Again, the numbers are off the charts. I got to ask you, OrchidMan, because I've been getting this in the comments nonstop from our guy Canes Cat. He says, OrchidMan, I need the baseball scoop. He's been saying it over and over. So, we lost them. Well, right, we were going to have him. We lost him. We'll bring him back here in a second as we get ready for the
baseball
Canes
team's
Cats.
in trouble.
Yeah, you didn't want to get. All right, OrchidMan, back. Jose, you can hear us?
Yeah, I can hear. I was getting a phone call.
No worries. Everything good?
Yeah, all good.
Does somebody need the top landscape artisans in South Florida? Is that what's going on?
Maybe.
So this has been going on in the comments nonstop, and I got to give it to you before I let you go. It says Canes Cat Heat 305 says, OrchidMan, I need the baseball scoop. I'm going to be out there. Literally, I'm going to get off this. We'll finish our show, and then I'm going to bounce to the light. And I know you're going to stop by there later. You're going to be all over the heck today. But first couple practices, we did a show with Sebastian. I like the physicality, like some of the things I'm seeing. just your initial, so early, but some initial impressions that you have and have heard about this team.
Big, strong, physical. No fat, no little guys. Very, very, very big team. Absolutely am enamored with the infield of what that's going to look like. You know, pitching wise, some good freshmen, some big freshmen, especially that kid Peralta from New Jersey, big kid.
Yeah.
A lot of we'll see what happens with the pitching as fall ball comes through. But we're going to score a lot of runs, and we're going to hit a lot of home runs.
Yeah, and that's something, look, it's early, but something you could tell pretty fast is, like you said, big freshmen, transfers. You bring back Cuvée, a lot of big dudes out there, which is nice to see, man.
I've never understood why we were so small, right? I mean, you would go, I went to Virginia in the spring, and you saw Virginia's team, and I was talking to JD, I'm like, the size of these kids, they're huge, you know, and you look at our team, and our team was always so on the small side, but the kids that have come in, you know, through the portal and the freshmen are big. A couple, you know, we have a two-way guy, Dubanovic.
Dubovic.
Big
Yeah,
Dubovic.
he pitched and hit on the last scrimmage.
Yeah, good. You know, he's a pitcher, he's a hitter. You know, he's a freshman, and this is the thing. The team is deeper than it's ever been. So some of these freshmen are gonna have to really be patient and stay and, you know, continue to improve and get better, and not have to play right away, because, you know, the outfield is stacked, the infield is stacked. You know, there's very little room for some of these kids to be able to get into the lineup. So they're going to have to be, for the first time, patient. But I think, you know, I again, I don't want to get, you know, too excited, because it's only fall ball. But I think baseball is going to be in good shape.
Seth, I know you're a baseball fan. I've seen you out there many times. OrchidMan will be out there. But first things first, Friday, beat Louisville, and let's build this thing up and take this momentum and build something sustainable. So your grandkids, not just your kids, your grandkids are enjoying championships, and this thing is built to last every single year. Seth, OrchidMan, appreciate you so much. Thanks for the numbers.
I want to leave you guys with just one thing. 2 years ago, when Cece was a freshman, I went to a cocktail where Mario was there, and he said, by the time Cece's a junior, we're going to compete for a national championship. And boys, we're going to compete for a national championship.
I love
All
it,
right.
baby. Listen, if you
Go
guys
Canes.
listen, you guys hear Mario's press conferences and you hear what he wants to say. These are the people that are talking to Mario for real and are giving you the real deal. So, Seth, OrchidMan, appreciate you guys. Thanks for the numbers.
Thanks, guys.
Go Canes.
500.
Go Canes.
Canes.
Go
Appreciate
Canes.
you guys. Oh, there we go. All right,
There
we're
we go.
good.
Sorry.
There you go. You fixed the screen.
Good stuff,
Nice,
man. Yeah.
Great segment.
Fired up.
Yeah, that was awesome. So yeah, I'll fire it up, man. So listen, you guys know this is what it is.